faces from I've met before. So it was a little family, just my mother and I and a cousin in South Wales. So I was quite interested in other people's families and peeping through peepholes. This beautiful cover was designed by Janice. I think it's marvellous. It's a sort of spy hole. It's a metaphor for me growing up, I think. Other people's families. My den smells of damp coconut matting, an old sheet slung over the washing line, snagged on brambles where our garden has run wild. I coax the ginger cat with saucers of milk and read him Amelia Ann and the Green Umbrella, mix potions with sorrel and lavender, or lie on the prickly grass watching ants carry crumbs from a stolen biscuit. Our new next door neighbours have a dad. I peek at them through a spy hole in the fence. Conker-haired children, freckled with gold dust, play that game I liked best, walking on his shiny shoes in their socks. Their mum brings out rock cakes she's baked for 11s. Beakers of milk they gulp down, leaving white moustaches. Yesterday, the big girl with a lucky gap in her teeth left me a flying saucer on the fence. It fizzed my nose. I make her a daisy chain necklace, threading stalks through thumbnail crescents. She wants me to squeeze through the loose slat to see her shack. I worry I'll snag my best cardigan, poppy red with ladybird buttons, and make my mother more sad. So, as a young widow, my mother had plenty of young men who came to be home helps, some of whom I had to see off quite quickly. Mr. King was all right. Coombe Martin, 1957. Mr. King, the odd job man, persuaded Mum to try a respectable boarding house he knew would suit our family of 2. I like Mr. King, his strange walk, tipping over to one side, swinging his gammy leg from the wall without his cap falling off. He drove a mushroom soup-coloured car with orange finger indicators that flicked out when he turned the corner at the top of our street. My new red jumping Jodie sandals, crepe soles pale as sponge cake, had to stay in the box until the morning of our holiday. The boarding house had a castle cut-out roof. We explored, wrapped in pack-a-macs and plastic concertina rain lights, until we were allowed in. Our room was at the back, overlooking the bins. Mum slid her compact between the sheets to check for damp, powdered her face in the fold mirror. The dining room was quiet as chapel. Paper napkins folded in triangles, brown sauce and tomato ketchup, toothpicks and the salt and pepper, damp from sea air. Most tea times we had bread and butter pudding. When the landlady left the room, the noisy dad jumped up, punched the air. Blimey O'Reilly, a raisin. Lying awake in our twin beds, sadness seeped through the gap. Mum whispered in the dark, let's go home. So the Tillies next door just changed our lives, really. They're quite a wonderful family, a granddad, 3 kids, lovely dad, and the wife who is half Greek, so she was pretty exotic in my mother's eyes, hence making Dolmades in Essex. In summer, when they make Dolmades, I wriggle through the gap in the fence. Alice, Michael and Paul shiggle along the bench to make room for me. We scoop teaspoons of rice flecked with spices on the underside of vine leaves, the size of a lady's hand, roll them up in tight cigar-shaped parcels. Their mum chivies us along. Ella, Ella, brings us lemonade with stripy straw, watermelon sliced into smiles. I swallow the black seeds like Alice and her brothers. My mother would like me to have curls like Alice, twists my hair in pin curl clips, fixes it with curvy grips, wraps fine strands of rags torn from old sheets. Since they came, my mother laughs more, like she used to before it was us 2. Can see nothing worked. She kept crying, poor lady. She's quite wily, my mother. She's quite a quiet little lady, but it's called tactical voting. My mother is ready for them when they knock. Darts me the laser look that means keep quiet. A man in a pinstripe suit raises his hat, smiles down at us, flashing a gold tooth. I hope we can count on your vote, madam. Mum puts on her special telephone voice. Explains she's recently widowed, all alone with a child. She's not sure how she will manage to vote. Dabs her eyes with a lace handkerchief tucked under her watch strap. We are offered a lift in the campaign car with a loud hail up on the roof. The man stamps his shiny shoes to keep warm, while she collects her coat from upstairs, dithers with her hat and a wall-stand mirror, fusses over my buttons, adjusts my Alice band bonnet, threads mittens on a string through my sleeves. We slide along the slippery leather bench seat at the back of the car. It's already getting dark. At the polling station she takes her time inside the wobbly wooden booth with the tiny pencils on strings. Later she tells my father she hoodwinked them. She often talks to his photo on the mantelshelf. I don't know if those of you who are age remember Sunday night at the London Palladium.
Yes.
Well, it was a treat to stay up when it wasn't a story the next day. My wonderful revolving stage and Tiller Girl. Oh gosh, it's really and so for a treat, my mum booked tickets to go to a matinee at the London Palladium, 1961. We sit at the top in tip-up velvet seats. I'm allowed to release the tiny opera glasses with a sixpence. There's a sudden hush. The lights go down. It's him, Liberace, in colour, playing a crystal-encrusted piano, a candelabra balanced on the top. His silver costume a dazzle of diamante. He stops, comes to the edge of the stage. I hear little whispers about my jacket. I'm so glad you like it. Everyone laughs. I slide down my seat and sit very still in case he means me. In the interval, for a treat, raspberry ripple ice cream in a wax tub with a miniature plastic shovel. Afterwards, he's back in a glittery gold suit. He says some people call me Liberace, some Liberate, Lacy, and some newspapers call me other things. Everyone claps and cheers. Too soon it's the end. Everyone joins in with, I'll be seeing you. Even Mum until I give her a look. Afterwards we have toasted tea cakes at Lion's Corner House. I asked Mum why people were laughing. She says, I'll tell you when you're older. Testing. I'd set my heart on a red bike. I don't mind its crimson tears of dribbled paint or the creaky wicker basket. I will wear down my mother until I'm allowed to ride to school once I pass the cycling proficiency test. She gets up early to set up lumps of coal in a wiggly line on the pavement for me to practice weaving through them without falling off. We plan a safe route down Tomswood Hill using my brakes, through side roads, I promise, not to turn right but to get off and cross, not to talk to strange men, not to stand up on the pedals like Michael at number 14. She waves me off in plenty of time for morning register, a bottle of Lucasade tucked in my basket. I'd hoped she'd say no, so we could travel on the bus together, and I could cheer her up with my Harry Worth impression in the plate glass window of the corner shop. This is really true. This is why I can't play the piano. Beats. If we ask why we have to call her Madam Maud, our mother's chorus don't answer back. On Saturday evenings, I grizzle and sob over my music. My mother wears her tight-lipped, I told you so face. Sunday mornings, I'm on the bus with Michael from next door, who is 4 months and 5 days older. I wait on the stool in the hall while Michael has his lesson, wishing as the clock ticks I had practiced more. Heavy velvet curtains let in a crack of daylight. The piano draped in crimson cloth with silky tassels. Madame wears a chiffon turban and jangle of bracelets. Her bared teeth flash with a smear of red lipstick. She hovers over me, tapping out the beat with her ruler in time with the metronome, with the occasional swipe across my knuckles. Hold your fingers up, my dear, as if they're galloping horses. There's a Rossi's ice cream parlour to look forward to on the way home. We get off the bus early at Barkingside to pay for an extra scoop in our lime soda, our long spoons reaching for the syrup at the bottom. Michael promises I can try on his Davy Crockett hat, holds the frosted glass against my tender hand. And I'm sort of growing up now, in the same house in Essex. I spend a lot of time in my bedroom watching the neighbours, and on the other side too, the boy Trevor. I watch our neighbours from my bedroom. Trevor kicks his football against the wall, thud, thud, until his mum raps on the window, clattering her rings against the glass. His dad mows the grass up and down in stripes. The mum appears with a basket of washing, pegs fanned between her teeth, hair hidden under a chiffon scarf, one roller peeping out. Under the knot at the front. Trevor shows off if he knows I'm looking, doing his Charlie Chaplin impression, twirling a garden cane he's pinched from the wigwam, holding up the run of beans. He cartwheels across the grass, so his shorts slip down enough to flash the pale hull of his hips. I'm revising, listening to Downtown on a loop. When it's dark, he'll climb the apple tree at the bottom of the garden, call out, cuckoo, cuckoo, until I turn on my light. Trevor was the problem, and my father was concerned about him. My mother told me, and child guidance came out and said he needed. What did his father hit him? And found out he did. He said you need a bigger cane. How the world has changed. Right. So now I'm a student. I'm a student in Whitechapel, and we're living in a really grotty flat in Aldgate East. We went back recently, and it's totally unrecognisable. Where we had our flat, it was the top floor down a gaslit, smoky alley, and that's all sort of piazzas and restaurants. So we had our 21st birthday there, my friend Marilyn and I, after the party. There might be enough grant money between us to share a Savoy from the White Hart, its tight skin bursting with juices. We torture ourselves with foods we want to eat. Bagels at the all-night kiosk in Brick Lane. Crisp potato lacquers from Whitechapel Market. Wrapped in a collar of greaseproof paper. A twist of pastries from the Kossoff store, still warm, covered with cinnamon sugar. In the debris, twiglet fragments, cheese footballs, toppled bottles of Hirondelle, Blue Nun, runnels of wax peeled from Mathieu's rosé bottle. There's no milk in the fridge, only forlorn remains of curried egg, two soggy bologons, the grapefruit hedgehog stripped of its cocktail spines. Piled behind books, balanced on light fittings, lined along the picture rail, gulab jamun made by Roy's mum, discarded after one bite. All we have is the saffron yellow comfort of Mrs. Roy Chowdhury's leftover sweetmeats, and I'm suddenly homesick for a roast, dinner in the kitchen, thick Welsh gravy, carrots from Cousin Terry's allotment. I miss my mother hovering in her pinny, a salvo of questions. And in the summer holidays I worked in an ice cream parlour in Porthcawl in South Wales. I can still do a mean Knickerbocker glory. My summer job in Fulgoni's ice cream parlour. Our sandals skid on harbour cobbles, slicked with spume. We run helter-skelter for the last bus, scramble upstairs, shaking the vanilla ice cream smell from our hair. The bus hugs the coast, lurches through lanes, scuffing gorse, wheezing to a stop for the Hall Farm girls to tumble out. I wave until they vanish up the track to home. My reflection keeps me company, leaning into the dark glass until the end of the lane. Mum's light is on upstairs. The sticky nylon overall sparks as I peel it off for a Daz soak. I perch on her bed, tell her stories about my day, how old Tommaso's boots leave the ground as he pivots over churns of ice cream to reach the bottom with his scoop. How he whistles a signal between his fingers if he sees Louis's van, so the boss finds us busy topping up orange squash, filling squeezy bottles with raspberry sauce, to squirt on banana splits and Knickerbocker glories. I listen to the drip, drip, drip of my overalls hanging over the bath, and think about Flighty Tony, his red MG midget, the aviator sunglasses. I don't tell Mum how our fingers touch when I hand him his change. But my mother's moved back to Wales, to a village she was brought up in, and we're renting a flat in Wanstead, back to Essex. We're a very colourful neighbourhood. Going to the dogs. Our neighbour knocks on the off chance I might want stuff that's come into his possession. Pretty poly nylons, knee-high Italian boots, then an invitation to Walthamstow Stadium. We go in the Cortina. He's scrubbed up in a light blue suit, black shiny shirt. His Maureen in slingbacks poured into a sparkly dress. She can tell I'm worried about my Richard Shops frock. Links her arm through mine. You look great, doll. Our table in the only room overlooks the track. I'm sat between Fat Alan, hair slicked back, hairy hands, thick gold signet ring sunk in the pillar of skin, and Big Tell, who is awaiting a disciplinary at the Broadway for driving a disorderly bus. Tell says it was his bad luck. The inspector boarded just as he got the singing going, and the geezer was jealous of his Bee Gees falsetto. At the bar, he asked if we could lend him a monkey, and discovers our student grant won't cover it. Derek, the creaky brown bomber jacket, white socks, winkle picker shoes, who holds his cigarette like a dart, hears, pulls out a wad of notes, insists it's his shout. Later he sidles up. Look, mate, if you're Jurassic, I'll ask Fat Alan to put some driving your way. My other half explains he hasn't got a driving licence. Listen, my son, trust me, if the Rozzers nick you, that's the least of your worries. Then, so time moves on and we move to Oxford. We don't know anybody there, and Ted, my husband's working every hour God sends him the special care baby unit looking after other people's babies, and I'm at home with two small twins. And I get an hour a week's help. I think in those days, because I've been in hospital for a while, we got it from social services, which is extraordinary. Just an hour, but so important. Mother's help. Julie arrives with a fag dangling from glossed lips, grinds it out, twisting the heel of her strappy sandal on the step as I open the door, wafting smoke away from two babies scooped up in my arms. She breezes down the hall, bringing in sunlight, swings my son onto her hip. He reaches out, strokes her smiley face. She takes over, mopping surfaces, Julie, my boy, searching for mugs. She's in a red stripy sundress, and I'm crumpled and dribbled on. My daughter settles with her babble. It's good to tell someone who really listens about the breastfeeding advisor, goading me to keep going, although both babies have that big-eyed starved look and don't sleep. Or the health visitor who advised against planting both bouncy chairs in front of the washing machine, the twins happily watching tumbling soap suds on the grounds it wasn't stimulating. She laughs, tells me about her date last night, a new boyfriend, for fun, not for keeps. Before I know it, my hour is up. 2 dirty coffee cups, 1 clean worktop, 2 contented babies, and me, still in my limp Laura Ashley nightdress. I watch her disappear down the path, leaving a whiff of smoke and a lipstick kiss on a discarded filter tip. Bless you, Julie. So, 5 foot in her slippers. My mum's in hospital, more muddled than usual. I'm a dab hand, a pit stop at Membry, over the Severn Bridge, and it's so yummy to navigate the long corridors of Bridgend Hospital. She looks smaller standing by her bed, bewildered. I search her locker to see what she needs. Visiting time, and someone claps her hands. It's Mum, standing in the middle of the ward, wrapped in a blanket. A few keep chatting until they feel her laser gaze. Welcome to Mummy's Comfy Primary School. She's back. Mrs. Rees planning the next project. Her string bag bulging with cereal packets. Toilet rolls insides to make Viking helmets, Roman shields. Worrying about Geoffrey, his glasses at a jaunty angle, stuck together with pink elastoplast. thrilled when he manages to read Janet and John. She sees it's me, my daughter from England. Searches for the handbill to get their attention. Her poem squashed flat at the back. Going home. Her bus wheezes up the hill past Pisgah Chapel, where her mother played the organ each Sunday. Sooty terraced houses lean together like bad teeth. She sees Trefoil the butcher closing for the day, setting out sluiced trays with a fresh rough of paper. Elias funerals with their display of dusty flowers. On the corner outside the co-op, Howard Marks, down from Oxford, smokes roll-ups with the bad boys from the comp, turning heads with his long hair. Children spill from the fish place in Maria Street, clutching Friday night bags of scraps and chips, licking greasy fingers slid out from mittens. Once they pass Langford's Dairy, the driver slows to drop her off between stops at the top cross. She remembers teaching him at Marla's infants. She skirts the puddles in the lane to her cottage, unpacks her basket, salty cockles, lava bread from Bridgend Market, treats for her daughter, home from London for the weekend. It's time to heat the bakestone for Welsh cakes before Willie Pencher delivers fresh eggs and... "Did you have a good sleep, Gwen?" A girl in a plastic apron is kneeling by her chair, rubbing her arm. She keeps her eyes closed. Gwen is not her name. She is Gwyneth Dillis, and they've put her in the wrong clothes. Her daughter will be coming soon to take her home. So, Cousin Terry was very important in our lives. She used to just appear on the doorstep and bring exciting things like roller skates and things I wasn't allowed to have. Bucket list. And when I retired, we'd meet up and he'd have a bucket list of what he wanted to do in London. Bucket list. I wait at the barrier at Paddington. His gait is unmistakable. John Wayne, broad-based, rolling, shooting his cuffs. A Camel cigarette held like a dart between his thumb and index finger. Booted and suited, my cousin Terry spills from the South Wales train. It's only the two of us now. The last time it was Jersey Boys, tea at the Ritz and Westminster Abbey. This time, Mamma Mia, Harrods, and he has one last request. I think of the times he appeared outside college, unannounced. Took me out for a steak up west with all the trimmings. A note tucked in my pocket to keep me going. How he kept an eye on Mum, giving her vegetables from his allotment. The time he stayed with her at long night until the ambulance came. I say for you, Terry, anything. Just name it. How about 2 matching tattoos? Discreet mind. Maybe 2 Welsh dragons? I'm not going to tell you what happened about that. Between me and Terry. Connections. Now, I'm pleased that Janice doesn't know this, but this poem's been taken by the Poetry Business Coal Anthology to commemorate 40 years of commemorating the Mine Strike. So that's a bit pleased about that. Connections. Empty trains pass without stopping. Smoky dustmans roll with empty cans. A pigeon pecks at a discarded crisp packet. It no longer matters. I arrive in time to see you slip in and out of sleep, hair in a quiff like your photos to the boy, a gouge blue-black dug into your cheek from the days spent down the pit. I wait in silence, only salvos of footsteps, nurses peer in. Morphine drowsed, you mouth the air. I lean in close. Terry, it's me, your Cockney cousin. You say it's only the two of us now. 30 years earlier, I wait outside the prefab in a road cut through the valley, shadowed by the pithead. A boom shadows the air. Women still out, standing on doorstep. My auntie's leg is twisting her hands in her crossover pinning. A thick silence. The noise of an ambulance getting closer, disappearing. Someone running, breathless, saying, "Only one casualty." Are you coming home? Your face slightly colder. Pale circles round your eyes. You pick me up, swing me in sooty hands. So, the great joy of having grandchildren is watching them grow up before you become totally embarrassing. Rites of passage. In the churchyard, I'm camouflaged against a lichened wall to surprise my granddaughter on her way home from school. Gaggles of girls thrill along the road, all dressed alike. Black leggings, baggy t-shirts, hoodies knotted round their waists. I notice the blue nails. Her long black hair smells of peaches when I sneak a kiss. She is still pleased to see me. I sit on the bench in assembly, a worn-out view of Miss Barnes' pink wingers, marched out to Liberty Bell. On Fridays, always rolling pony, called Dead Baby, served in a lidded tureen. My friends laughed at the small woman standing at the bus stop wearing a plastic concertina rain hat. She was waiting for me. I hid, pretending I hadn't seen her. Sorry, Mum. My youngest granddaughter's got a certain sense of style, which still persists. Badly drawn grandma. My granddaughter is choosing an outfit. In the mirror, I'm my mother. Mouse grey hair, dressed in beige, ready to lurk in corners like a cobweb. I wish I could dress like that poet in swirling skirts with tiny mirrors, squeeze frog-thin legs into an emerald leotard like the green goddess, or pull off that straight-off-the-yacht look in crisp white culottes, or wear a lemon-yellow Lacoste polo shirt with the collar turned up, a pashmina slung over one shoulder, spectacles swinging on a chain, struck in silver sneakers, ankle-skimming purple silk palazzo pants. She appears at the top of the stairs. Ta-da! Look at me, Grandma! I reframe the words that almost escape from my lips. Terrific, I say. She is wearing an orange swimsuit under her dressing gown, cinched with her mother's gold belt, heart-shaped sunglasses and flip-flops. I choose a fuchsia feather boa from the dressing-up box. We set off to the park, find a muddy puddle. I whisper, after 3, and we jump. And finally, where it all began, November. Imagine it's school birthday and my dad is at the front in a posh suit, his black unruly curls brill cream smooth. Imagine him talking to us about the children at his school in the East End who go hungry, whose shoes don't fit. Imagine his speech how he and Miner's son is a candidate for Parliament. He tells us there's nothing we can't do. Imagine that smoky bonfire night and he's on his way home with a box of Brock's fireworks, a pack of sparklers for me. Imagine the bonfire set, the guy on a wigwam of sticks, dressed in Dad's old battered hat and gardening clothes. Imagine my mother cooking sausages in the kitchen, singing along to the radio. She's not worried he's late. Imagine the silent clerk clinging to the wall of an artery in his heart doesn't rupture as he rounds the corner to home. Imagine the man occluding the light at the front door is my father, not the policeman bringing us the news.
Oh, awesome.